Just to be sure, there's a spoiler. While Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 will bring back Young Sheldon's Mary, this could soon complicate things for the show's central couple. Young Sheldon's spin-off Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage has a simple enough premise. In Young Sheldon's ending, Georgie and Mandy were newly married and looking forward to starting their life together as newlywed parents. In The Big Bang Theory Season 11, Episode 23, The Sibling Realignment, Georgie's older self mentioned his ex-wife in passing. Somehow, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage needs to explain why this seemingly happy couple ended up divorced between the end of Young Sheldon and Georgie's first appearance in the original show. Of course, that is not all that Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage needs to do. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 must give Missy, Georgie's little sister, a more substantial role after barely utilizing her in Season 1. Similarly, the show made Mandy's little brother Connor a fan favorite, so now his storyline will need some more focus and screen time in Season 2. Welcome to Movie Spy. Mary is confirmed to return in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2. Executive producer Steve Holland confirmed Mary would appear again. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage has a lot to balance as the Young Sheldon spinoff heads into its second season. The series needs to keep its focus on Georgie and Mandy so it can eventually explain what led to their preordained breakup. However, the spinoff must also keep viewers up to date on Missy and Mima's lives, and Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage's breakout character Connor needs to get more screen time in the second outing. With all this in mind, it hardly seems like Georgie's mother, Mary, needs a renewed role in the second outing. However, the Season 1 finale gave her a major part to play in Georgie's future when Mary put the Cooper family home up as collateral so that Georgie could buy a tire store in the spin-off Season 1 finale. This means that Mary is now in business with her son, and the meddling mother is unlikely to leave him to his own machinations when it comes to running the store. Mary's ownership stake will most likely result in her popping by unexpectedly to offer unsolicited advice on how to run the store. Indeed, executive producer Steve Holland told TV Line that Zoe Perry, who plays Mary, especially, is now a part of the story and a part of the store moving forward, so we'll be seeing her. To an extent, this is just good business sense, since Mary's house is collateral for Georgie's business, so she wants to ensure he won't lose it. However, Mary's complex personality change makes this role more concerning. Mary's investment in Georgie's new business sets her up to be more involved. Mary helping out Georgie makes her Season 2 role obvious. Much like Young Sheldon's version of Mima was very different from the sedate, stern matriarch seen in The Big Bang Theory, Mary is a lot meaner, more blunt, and more bitter in the original show than she was in Young Sheldon. This is due at least in part to the sudden death of her beloved husband, George Sr., which occurred in Young Sheldon's penultimate episode. Since the character-shifting event had already occurred, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage made Mary meaner and angrier than she used to be in Season 1, and this could impact Season 2's story. Mary's outbursts in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Episode 5, Thanksgiving, and Episode 10, A House Divided, didn't fit her Young Sheldon persona, but they were reminiscent of her personality from The Big Bang Theory. Mary's character shift makes sense since she got more bitter and angry after George's death and before the original show began, but her anger and opprobrium can be surprisingly dark for a lighthearted sitcom. Thus, Season 2 must find a way to make Mary more involved in Georgie's business without turning her into an unpleasant presence who worsens the protagonist's existing anxiety. How Mary's possible bigger presence can further complicate Mandy and Georgie's marriage. George and Mandy's First Marriage in Season 1 made Young Sheldon's Mary more intense. Mary's role in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 makes Mima's part in the story harder to envision, since Mima's decision not to invest in Georgie's store makes her less essential to the spin-off's main characters. However, this could be good for Annie Potts' character. When Mima hired Mandy to join her illegal sportsbook gambling scheme, she caused a major fight between the young couple that almost had serious repercussions for their future. However, since Mima won't be around to drive a wedge between them, this can only mean that Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 will likely see Mary divide Georgie and Mandy instead. This might be entirely unintentional on her part, but Georgie's mother is likely to complicate the pair's union since they already live together with Mandy's parents in her childhood home. Although it may seem like an obvious source of conflict for the character, Mary should not fly off the handle at Georgie over the way he runs the tire store. This would admittedly explain his anger at Sheldon for not being present to the family's woes after George Sr.'s death. But it would also just be hard to watch considering all Georgie does for his family, and all the anxiety he has experienced already. What Mary's investment in Georgie's tire business can mean for her relationship with the McAllisters. George and Mandy's First Marriage season May 2nd see Mary antagonize the McAllisters. Instead, Mary's anger should be expressed in her relationship with the McAllister family, as it often was in Season 1. While George and Mandy's First Marriage's breakout star embraced Georgie as a new addition to his family, Mary had a hard time connecting with Georgie's mother-in-law, Audrey. A tense Thanksgiving and Mary's discovery that she wasn't included in Audrey's family photo albums did not help matters, and the two mothers almost ended up trading blows more than once throughout Season 1's storyline. George and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 should lean into this, as it would explain why Georgie and Mandy's relationship was put under more strain without making Mary an outright villain. Mary's feud with Audrey would indirectly put pressure on Mandy and Georgie, thus weakening their marriage without making Mary the antagonist of the outing. This would allow George and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 to give young Sheldon's heroine a complex subplot of her own that acknowledges her changing personality without lazily blaming the breakup from the title on her alone. Thanks for watching.